And welcome back inside Greater Zion Stadium. Trailblazers fought hard for the most part, but they just couldn't get over the hump here today. And they lose to Tarleton State, the third-ranked team in the country, 41-23. Much closer game than the score indicated. Rod Zundel, Max Christensen back here waiting for head coach Lance Anderson to come by and give us his thoughts. But, you know, when you look at the numbers, not bad.
Yeah.
Third down conversions, that's one thing that we thought was going to be the main portion of this game. Third down conversions, 8 for 17, not bad. But in the stretch, they had a 9.5-minute drive, Tarleton State did, to ice this game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, the number that really jumps off the page for me has got to be the 52 rushes for 262 yards by Tarleton. That's amazing.
Third and fourth string running backs.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, Coach Lance Anderson has made his way up here. And so we'll get him here and get his thoughts on what took place tonight against the third-ranked team in the country. We'll get him in here. So getting him hooked up to a microphone. And all right, Coach, just give us your initial thoughts on here because you guys gave it a good go there for quite a while.
You know, again, the guys came out, they competed hard, they battled. You know, we're a 2016 game in the second half. I mean, we have our opportunities, but, I mean, you get tired of hearing the same thing from me that we just have to finish, but that is the reality of it. That is the truth, that we just have to keep working to be able to execute well enough and give enough effort to win these games. I do believe we are a much improved football team from what we were last year. We just got to continue to work.
What did you like about the way your guys performed tonight?
You know, the biggest thing is just the way the guys battled. Not everything was perfect, really, in any phase. Yeah. We struggled, you know, at times in each phase, but the guys just continued to fight, continued to battle. And, you know, down there, you know, we have an 11-point game there at the end, have a chance for an onside kick. You know, the guys are just continuing to play and battle. We just got to have a little bit better execution. We need more effort, and we just got to continue to go to work in practice to, you know, earn that and get better.
You go back, and we've talked about this in a lot of these close losses. You go back and you can look at one or two, maybe three plays. You had open receivers. You had blocks that if you take a block on a screen pass, you're probably in for a touchdown, that type of thing.
Yeah, just, you know, whether it's offensively and it's a few plays there that we could have executed. Defensively, whether it's, you know, missing a tackle or losing leverage, you know, special teams with some of the field position, things like that. Those little things decide the game, and we just need to continue to improve in those areas. Yeah.
Coach, as you kind of mentioned before, you don't want to sound like a broken record, right? So what message do you share week in and week out with the guys to not sound monotonous, to keep them engaged, do those things? Because we know it's the same things. It's one play away. It's this, it's that. What message do you share to keep it kind of fresh?
You know, my big thing with our team has been that right now, you know, we can't let our record define us. We can't worry too much about results. It is about just playing football for the love of the game. We need guys who just love football, who love to compete, who want to get better. Once we do that, and if we are just playing this game because we love it, we want to get better, the results are going to take care of themselves.
All right, so now you head into your bye week before that team about 50 miles north of us comes into town. What do you want to accomplish now? You got 2 weeks to get ready.
You know, so obviously during the bye there's a number of things that we want to accomplish. Number one, some of the guys that are beat up a little bit, we want to make sure we get those guys healthy. So I think the bye comes at a good time. There are still a lot of fundamental things, like I mentioned, that we need to continue to work on, and we need to address those things during the bye week. As a coaching staff, it's a great time to start recruiting and really get out and do that. So there are a number of things that we need to get done. You know, let's make sure we're healthy. Let's make sure we keep getting better at doing fundamental things. We'll get a little bit of a jump start on Southern Utah, and we'll get to work recruiting as well.
Are you going to give them some extra time off this week?
We will. Yep, we will. So especially as we get later in the week, we'll give those guys some time off, and then we'll come back and get started again. You know, game week for Southern Utah, but we'll have some good practices this week before we do that.
All right, Coach. Thanks for joining us, and have a good bye week, and let's get ready for that other team down there, shall we?
Sounds great.
All right, Coach Lance Anderson of Utah Tech. Take a quick break. Be back to wrap this thing up after this.
If you haven't seen Utah Tech University lately, chances are you haven't seen it at all. With hands-on polytechnic learning across 300 academic programs, 30 new and renovated state-of-the-art facilities, the most affordable university tuition in the state, and 300 days of sunshine. Why look anywhere else? Discover why Utah Tech was recently named one of Education Magazine's 10 prominent universities and colleges to watch. Join us and experience the active learning, active life difference at Utah Tech.
All right, back here in Greater Zion Stadium, put a wrap on tonight. Utah Tech losing to the third-ranked team in the country, Tarleton State. Texans get the win 41-23. Rod Zundel, Max Christensen back here to wrap it up. Max, you look at that score, 41-23. First of all, that's 8 points under Tarleton State season average. They have an average of victory, margin of victory by 30 points. And what's this, 18?
Yeah.
So a couple, moral victories there, but much closer game than what the 41-23 score indicates.
100%. And as we kind of mentioned, Utah Tech is much better than their record from what they've said as well. Again, they played these teams pretty good. They played Tarleton tonight. It was a 20-16 game at one point. Yeah. But they just weren't able to finish. The game kind of got away from them. And the two drives that defined this game was an 8.5-minute drive for 98 yards that Tarleton had. Yep. And then what you said was even more impressive.
66-yard drive took 9.5 minutes.
That's crazy.
And that put an ice on the game and just wore out the Trailblazer defense. All right, let's talk about some stats. Reggie Graff led the way with 57 yards rushing. Chris Street came on with some good runs late. 41 yards on the ground. Asa Chapman with 24. Bronson Barbin through the air, 18-35, 174 yards, 1 touchdown. Reggie Graff, 4 of 5. 46 yards, and he was sacked once. Eric Olson once again led the way through the air with 6 catches on 11 targets, 75 yards. Shamar Garrett, 6 receptions, 49 yards. Caden Eggett, 6 receptions, 47. Daniel Thomason, 2 for 35 and a touchdown. And also Ilya Uvaidov hit 3 field goals. That is the first time ever he's hit 3 field goals in one game. But we talked about it, Tarleton State. They averaged 226 yards rushing a game, and today for rushing they had
262.
262.
Yep.
So that's a little bit more than what you'd like.
Yeah.
And Daniel Greek passing, he was 13 of 21, 169 yards, no touchdowns. So Trailblazers did a lot of good things, and they, like you said, in the third quarter, after they the drive to open up the third quarter. It was a 20-16 ball game, and they were right there.
Yeah. And
had a chance again.
Yes. And again, you kind of read some of those stats. I think another thing for the Trailblazer offense that they might start to lean into, 12 catches total by the tight ends. And you see, Eric Olson caught 6, Kay Nega got 6, but also Eric Olson was targeted 11 times. Yeah. So you're looking at 18 targets between the two tight ends, and they were pretty productive tonight, on the outsides and through the middle of the field.
So, a lot of good things happened with the Trailblazers, but they had some misfires, had some easy plays that they could have made on offense, and they just missed some guys, missed some blocks, and on defense, they had a tough time tackling these backup running backs, and that all adds up to a loss, 18-point loss, 41-23.
Yep,
so,
absolutely.
Right. Okay, so we're home for another 3 weeks. Next week, the Trailblazers have a bye, and then 2 weeks from tonight, a team 50 miles to the north. You don't say that name here on this show. They come into town and take on the Trailblazers in the Battle of the Axe. So, well, had her chances.
Yep.
Had the Jim Carrey, so you think there was a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But
and there was.
There was, until there wasn't.
Yep.
Okay. All right, for Max Christensen and for Tara Atkin back at the studios, I'm Rod Zundel. Thanks for joining us tonight. Once again, the final score here. The third-ranked team in the country, the Tarleton State Texans, with the 41-23 win over Utah Tech. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody. See ya.